Hello, welcome. It's February, I believe, 2021. We're still in phase of our history. Welcome to the pub, my little pub. It only seats one. There's only one chair in it. There's no landlord. I've got a stash of fine ales and wines, and well, let's get the old proceedings started. If you like this kind of stuff, give me a thumbs up. Don't worry about the thumbs down, you wouldn't be here, so there's no need to thumbs down it. And if you want to contact me, Church House Classics, it's all one word, at gmail.com. And if you want to buy me a pint or a beer, I'll be a savage, I'm drinking it out of the bottle because I can't be asked to go and get a glass. Yeah, if you want to buy me a pint or support the channel, then there's a PayPal me thing scrolling along the bottom of the screen here. So, what the fuck have I been up to? There we are, we got past the first minute, so I can put this thing down as moderate, light language. What have I been up to? Well, I've been working my bottom off, in all honesty. Take this fucking thing off. Can't wait to burn it. Yeah, it's been a busy year. I mean, I appreciate it's February. I mean, you've been watching the channel. You've seen the projects that I've got going through, and I've got a ton of stuff coming up. I've got work booked up pretty much to June, July now. Stags, Land Rovers, Range Rovers. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I am living that dream. And I'm also really lucky that I can work still. There's quite a few people that can't, and I'm delighted to have been out of IT. It's the best move ever. I should have done it years ago. Drink to that. Oh, it's the first one today. Oh, today's ale. It's a Green King brew. Green King of Bury St Edmunds, East Anglia. Abbott. And yeah, if there's ever Abbott on a pump in a pub, you got to do it. You have a pair of Abbotts while you think what you're going to drink. fnarr. It's just gorgeous. I like a nice pint of Abbott. Right, so yeah, so work's been busy. I've enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying the videos that I stick up on the channel. It's been a bit noisy with the recycled chappies over the road, but you know, they've got to work. I moved in, they were there first. I'm not a fucking NIMBY that kind of moves in next to a racetrack and then moans like hell about the noise of the race cars that have been going around the circuit for the previous 50 years. Like the twats down at Goodwood Racing Circuit and Castle Combe seem to do. There are twats down there. I hope they're watching, because I've just called them a twat. Pubs still aren't open. There is a website, I've been told, website you can go to, which gives you the countdown to in minutes as to when the pubs are going to open again, and it's just too fucking depressing. You look at kind of like events on you got the Big Bang, yeah, Big Bang. Universe is created, Earth is created, dinosaurs, yeah, and then we've got like today is this much, and then we've got pubs open 21st of June. It's like fucking ages. It might as well be as So I created my own pub. Thank you very much. There we are. It's actually not a pub though, is it? Because if I said it's a pub, I'm going to have the Inland Revenue all over me like a bloody tramp on chips. That's no good. No, what is it? It's not a pub. It's a watering hole. No, it's speakeasy. My speakeasy. Speakeasy's called the Piston Broke. I've probably got one over here somewhere. Oh, I've got a conrod. That'll do, won't it? There we are. The Piston Broke. I'll find a piston. We'll make up a pub sign. There you go, my little speakeasy. Anyone's welcome. You can all drink beer remotely while I'm drinking my beer. So I don't really know what the plans are for 2021. It's shaping up to be just as shit as 2020 as far as social events are concerned. I mean, I'm not that fussed about going on holidays and stuff anyway, because I love my job so much. It's all right, but the missus is going stir crazy. She's had enough of it all. Desperate to get away. And we got another kind of roadmap for releasing us back into normalcy. Just another line in the sand. And yeah, that line will be scrubbed out and another line further down will be drawn. Fuck it. It's bollocks. Not, obviously, you know, the roadmap. It's just, you just got to fucking get on, make the best out of it as you possibly can. I have days where I get thoroughly miserable and pissed off about it all. And it affects my productivity when I work then. And then I try and do something that picks me up. And it does. Drink normally. Probably shouldn't, should I? But where's the fun in that? So I'm not going to bother doing Le Mans this year. Didn't bother last year. It got cancelled anyway and then run without spectators. And I'm done with Le Mans now. How did I get onto Le Mans? Oh, because I was talking about what I was going to do this year. So I'm not going to do Le Mans. Not interested. Sorry about the big sniff. It happens. I'm quite keen on the Goodwood revival. Because I think there's a fair chance that we might be allowed to go. We won't have to wear these fucking things. And we might be allowed to... I don't know. I'm not going to criticise anything the government's done. I don't think any country knows how to deal with it. It is what it is. So I'm not going to grumble. If you come here wanting to me grumble about COVID and the way the government's dealing with it, go away. It's not going to happen. I can grumble about other things. I've had some spectacularly shite service recently. So, delivery, couriers. I don't know what it is, but FedEx cannot find my fucking house. At all. And then I just cancelled the order because the supplier in question, Paddock Spares, AEW Paddock Motors, very good normally. Their customer service was very, you know, friendly and on the ball, but not particularly efficient at getting TNT to pull their thumbs out of their asses and do what they're supposed to be doing, which is dropping parcels at addresses. And it's not like the address is kind of like a brand new one. The house has been here 170 fucking years. And they've been able to find it before. So I don't know why FedEx have balls up there. It's got on my tits. So I'm trying to avoid using them at the moment. Which is petty, really, isn't it? There's bigger things to worry about at the moment. Not been many questions coming recently, so I haven't really got questions to answer. People want me to talk about... there's two things that people want me to talk about. They want me to talk about shit that I got up to at Le Mans. And they want to me to talk about my old working life for some reason. Because I do talk to people about my life in project management and how it evolved into project management and how it was that I've already been through in previous sessions about how I'm self-taught on the mechanics and so forth. So that'd be boring if I went over that again. Just look at one of the previous beer and bollock sessions. It's in there. Tearing lawnmowers apart and irritating my dad. So we could talk... What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Le Mans or do you want to talk about previous work-related disasters? Le Mans. Okay, Le Mans. I've been going... Well, first went to Le Mans 1991. First year that they put the chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight. Brilliant. I went there and we had a right laugh. And one of the silly things that happened on that trip, I'll just recount some of the silly things, because we kind of... The whole thing around Le Mans was that we became the blokes at Le Mans. Me, Adrian, the founders, and our dads were the founders. And Simon, my brother. The five of us were the founding members, the foundlings. So we became the blokes at Le Mans. I'll tell you about the first year, then I'll tell you how the blokes at Le Mans thing evolved, because that is fucking hilarious. Probably won't find it hilarious. But basically, so silly things that happened in that first year were that we went down there and we had a shitter cabin, shitter tent with a camping toilet in it, which was actually quite fortunate because we arrived there on the Thursday before the race, and someone had already burnt the toilet block down. Grim. It was grim. I mean, basically, in those days, you really did. You shat in a hedge. Anyway, we were camped down on the Le Mans Bugatti circuit. We were actually on the track side. So we just had rows of tyres beside us. So we went through the whole weekend. Absolutely fabulous time. Insert a picture here of me, my brother and my father at the end of the race. And that was the Dunlop Bridge. And it was just, everything about that weekend was just, it was epic. The noise of the cars. And it was so epic that it took me until 2 years ago to realise I was never going to beat that experience of that first Virgin year. It was never going to get any better. And Le Mans evolved. It's become much more of a commercial vehicle. It's more political. If the ACO could get more bloody political, I don't know. Anyway. But when we got to the end of the race, we were clearing up the camp and stuff, and we were thinking, right, what do we do with this? Because what had happened was, because we had this tent with a toilet in it, people were turning up with cases of beer saying, can I have a shit in your tent? Not in the tent, but in the toilet tent. I'm sure people did shit in tents. But anyway, so people were trading like cases, slabs of beer. With I don't think they were in twisty tops in those days. I can't remember back that far. I remember the race, and I remember kind of some of the details of it. People were trading cases of beer, lager, to have a dump in the privacy of not having everyone at Le Mans watching you shitting in a hedge. And so by the end of it, this thing was particularly stuffed. I have got a photograph of it, properly, taste and decency. Would suggest that perhaps I don't post the photograph of what that toilet looked like with all its chemicals and stuff. But anyway, at the end of it, we couldn't work out what we were going to do with it. So someone, not me, decided they were just going to tip it into these kind of like shrink-wrap tyres that were around behind us on one of the corners in the Bugatti circuit. So we just emptied the whole fucking thing in. There was nowhere else to dump it. So it got tipped in there. And we were just imagining, oh God, you imagine there'll be a MotoGP event at the circuit, and some unfortunate novice will come off and slide into the soft comforts of the tyre wall and thinking, oh, thank goodness there's a tyre wall there. And as the bike hits it, and they're sliding along, through the gravel trap towards it, they'll just see this pillar of the contents of our porta potty going up into the air. Oh my goodness, where's it all coming from? But there was plenty more in that Virgin year that silly things that we went on. It all gets into a bit of a blur. I'll have to go through my notes really, because I used to have a website. It's gone now, but blokes@lemans.co.uk, and we used to put our exploits up on a fairly regular basis. The reason we are the blokes at Le Mans, this evolved. I can't remember which year it was now. My brother, Stock Car Mike was called Stock Car Mike because he stuffed my brother's car into the back of my Stag. So he then became Stock Car Mike. Now, at the beginning of that particular event, Mike was actually a fussy bloke because he was going through boxes and boxes and boxes of vendors' T-shirt stock, trying to find one where the neck seams were double stitched, and it just took hours. For fuck's sake, Mike, just buy the fucking shirt already. There's beer to be drunk here. So Mike was fussy. Mike still is fussy. The other thing that Mike does quite a lot is Mike likes to take photographs, and everyone's got to be posed, and the camera goes on a tripod because Mike likes to be in the photograph as well. And every single time that Mike gets the camera on the tripod and clicks the button to say, right, the camera's going to go now, to take the picture, I will drop my trousers. Every single time. Because it's funny. Why not? Why would you not do that? Anyway, my brother, Mike, my dad, me. I think that was it. I can't really remember. I think Callum was there as well. friend of mine. Anyway, and Adrian and his dad, and little bloke. Little bloke was little. It's not like little John. We're not. Little bloke was. It's like this tall. It's like a child. Anyway, so that whole trip was just bizarre. Adrian's father, rest in peace, was driving his Citroen ZX, but was determined to get 900 miles to the gallon out of this thing. So kind of, we gave up really, kind of following in convoy. We just fucked off to the circuit as quickly as we possibly could, and let them enjoy the misery of the economy run. So we got to the circuit. Now Mike had organised a rental tent, big frame tent, and he'd organised the rental, and we arrived at the circuit with all our beers. We blagged ourselves a plot right at the entrance, and I still don't know how we managed to do it. We were right inside the gate of Beaujour campsite. And I think kind of like, you know, when we just parked the cars and we were speaking in English, and, you know, the lassies that with the viz vests on, that was gross, Richard. They were trying to tell us something and we didn't really understand it. So we gave them beer and they just, oh, fuck it, whatever. I just let us stay there, which is good. So we were trying to put this bloody frame tent up. Now, it was quite a big structure. It was a magnificent erection. And it took us fucking ages to get this thing up. So there was, like I say, there was my father, me, Mike, and my brother, fannying around with this fucking frame tent, trying to get it to look even vaguely like it was and we'd been through 2 slabs of beer by this point. My dad probably wasn't really even drinking. But we'd been through 2 slabs of beer, so 24 bottles of beer. And the situation wasn't improving, so we just throw everything on the floor. Right, fuck it. We're going to have a beer and we're going to think about this. And then Mike said, oh yeah, the bloke said in the shop that the ends are colour-coded. So we picked up a pole, red. Picked up a union, red. Click. Like, we went round, put this frame up in about 2 minutes. I pulled the cover over it. Anyway, so the tent got erected and we all marvelled. So we all settled down. And then kind of like, I don't know what Mike started to, because we were all a little bit irritated with Mike that it's taken him 2 hours to tell us that, you know, the frame was colour-coded and it was actually a piece of piss to put up, but we couldn't work it out because we were too bladdered and probably tired as well, exhausted from the night's journey. So I don't know how the conversation kicked off, and I'm going to use some extreme profanity here. So this is probably not going to be a monetised video. So if you don't like extreme profanity, here's your warning. Stop watching now. But basically, the conversation was around superheroes. And my brother, who was particularly sloshed by this point, said to Mike, yeah, if you were a superhero, you'd be Cunt Boy. So this is how it all started off. And then it was pretty much about this point that Adrian, little bloke Chris, and Adrian and his dad and little bloke Chris turned up. So all this profanity, extreme profanity, was going on. I'm like, yeah, Simon, come on, chap. Yes, have a bit of, you know, decent decorum here. Let's not offend everyone here. And he's like, shut up, you stupid cunt. So I became stupid cunt. Callum, who was there, became fat cunt. My brother was bald cunt. Mike was cunt boy. My father was old cunt. And this is kind of this evolved. And it was none of my doing. So we decided actually that the word is just it's not a great word really, is it? I know it's a very old word, and I know that Shakespeare used it in his plays, and you know it's in Tudor times it didn't mean anything like what it means today. So anyway, we decided ultimately, look, rather than being stupid cunt, why don't I be stupid bloke? So we kind of accepted on the grounds of decency that this was the way to go, except for my brother, who carried on dropping the C-bomb repeatedly. So that's how the blokes at Le Mans started out. Now, the funny thing was, I think that Adrian's dad turned up expecting some sort of civilised conversation out of my dad. But by this point, we'd been there 3 hours, and my dad was shit-faced. And he wasn't going to get any common sense out of him at all. But that became a bit of a legendary year, that whole year. Because there was another thing that happened that year that amused us no end. Was, Adrian, bless your cotton socks, chap, but you're tight. Well, you used to be tight. So one of the things that would always happen is we'd end up in the village area at Le Mans on Mad Friday, just drinking ourselves, drinking our own body volume, and enjoying it. And the rounds aren't particularly cheap. You pay a lot of money for a round of shitty lagers, and we'd often go to the Guinness tent and drink Guinness, because at least the Guinness is Guinness rather than shitty lager. And invariably, sorry Adrian, this is true, invariably it would get to Adrian's round, and he'd or the round before Adrian's round, he said, well, I'm going to go back and cook the curry then. And he'd disappear. Oh, did he leave anyone with €100 to buy his round? No. Sorry, Adrian, it is true. It's very funny. I don't mind at all. I think you put up with a lot of crap off us lots. But anyway, that particular week, so that particular occasion, that particular year, Adrian buggered off. We were all there getting absolutely trousered. And it was the first year that Bentley raced under the Audi team. So the Audis weren't racing that year, but the Bentley did race. It was the first year. And we bumped into Mike Brewer, who at that time was presenting a show called Driven. And I can't remember who he did it with. It's a long, long time ago. Look at IMDb. It'll tell you who Mike Brewer was working with. We just got chatting with them. They say, you look like a load of unusual Brits, kind of eccentric. You're doing this thing. You're going back for a curry where you're all going to wear white shirts, dinner jackets and bow ties, and play bingly bangly music. Ravi Shankar on his sitar. So it just like they got chatty. Anyway, they decided they wanted to do a segment with us in a line, all wearing kind of, whatever we were wearing, but drinking beer. And they decided that they were going to zoom in and say something along the lines of, we're at Le Mans and this is Driven. So it was all going beautifully, except when we said, and this is Driven, my brother shouted cunt at the top of his voice. Every fucking time. Anyway, after about 8 takes, I think the producer decided, that's it. It's a wrap. Forget it. It's absolute liability. And then unfortunately, we lost Mr. Brewer and all of the other guys. Well, we just carried on drinking, really. The curry was supposed to be on the table at 6:30. I've got no idea what time but anyway, we met this group of lads who were on a stag party. There's quite a few stag parties down at Le Mans. They're on a stag party. They've never been to Le Mans before. They were kind of like, part of the race mentality. They were just going to drink themselves into oblivion and not actually bother about the race at all. And the groom was a chap called Seamus. So anyway, we got chatting with these blokes, and they were a good laugh, actually. And I was smoking Villager cigars in those days, which are particularly revolting cigars. Anyway, big square profile stogies. And I quite like them. But anyway, I was having a cigar. Seamus said, you got one to spare? Of course, I had been through duty free. We're going to get duty free back again, I'm sure. So I gave Seamus a cigar, and he was enjoying the cigar. But then his mate wanted to lug off it. And he kept banging on and on and on. And I said, just have a cigar, mate. I'll give you one. No, I don't want a cigar. I just want a lug off Seamus' cigar. So Seamus drops his trousers, wedges the cigar up his butt crack. It might have gone in a little bit. And then says to his mate, right, now you can have a lug off my cigar. And his mate did. Fucking hell. It was revolting. Anyway, he went round then. Then every party of his stag group had to take a drag off the cigar that had been up Seamus' arse. And then he just of course, we're just rolling around on the floor. I was nearly sick. I was laughing so much. And then it ended up where Seamus was running around like just complete strangers and just say, have a drag off this cigar. It's the best cigar ever. And then they'd take a drag. Eventually, they would take a drag off it just to, get rid of it. This drunk nutter from the West Country. Take a drag on it. And as soon as they'd taken a drag on it, he would like bellow in their face, "That's been up my arse!" It was insane. Anyway, I think we eventually got back, and I think we were over 2 hours late for the curry. Oh, fucking hell. We were over 2 hours late for the curry, and it was just an absolute fiasco. We were slaughtered. We could barely stand up. And it was, I think that Jeff and Adrian had worked, Jeff was Adrian's father. Jeff and Adrian had worked really hard. Little bloke had been there. He laid all the table. This thing looked really smart. We got all dressed up, and it just ended up in a food fight. And I feel desperately sorry for those guys that bust their asses to produce this curry, and also salvage it, basically being served 2 hours too late. Awful, awful, awful day. And none of it was my fault, of course. No, none of it was my fault. But there's so much more about them all, and a lot of it was beer-fueled shenanigans. But an awful lot of it was. We did actually go for the racing, and spent hours and hours and hours at the trackside watching the racing. But it was just those little segments, those little snippets of, I don't know, drinking beer and talking bollocks. How about that? That really kind of, it made it. I've got, like I say, so many hundreds of hours of footage of talking about Le Mans, but that's boring. Well, it is, because I've lived through it. It's great fun. I really enjoyed every second of it. Really enjoyed every second of it. It was great fun. And we went back every year, year after year after year, and it became a sort of like, well, we've done it before, so we'll just carry on doing it. And then the whole thing just started getting a bit too commercial, and I lost interest in it. I actually quite like the Goodwood Revival now. Goodwood Revival. Can't put my teeth in. Goodwood Revival. I quite like that now. Especially when you follow, someone dressed up as a wing commander with two kind of waifs in tow. And as they're walking along and you're following, you can see the stocking tops. It's good work. And they have gin bars there too. I mean, how civilised is that when you've got a gin bar? I enjoyed that. So that was only one beer, half an hour. It was quite slow drinking for me, but that's because I was yapping away. Right, okay. I think we'll draw a close on this one. But if you kind of like the content, send me some bloody questions, please. And at least I can answer them. Give me some rope to hang myself with. And I'll include it in the next one. Oh, Seath. I need to mention Seath, because Seath said he would buy me a beer if I mentioned him. So hello, Seath. Now, Seath has been a very, very silly boy. I'm actually going to open another beer for this one, because it fucking needs to be Tanglefoot, I think. Tanglefoot. Traditional golden ale. The legendary Tanglefoot from the Badger Darshit Brewery. Oh, before we get into Seath, if anyone's bought one of these fucking things, I've got a quality issue. It breaks there. The pin comes out. So if you've got one, you've bought one, you've paid good money for it and it's broken, let me know, I'll refund you. Sorry about that. I'm not happy about it, but yeah, if you have bought one, I will refund you if it's broken. If it hasn't broken, then tough. But it still opens bottles, just doesn't become, the key organiser becomes separate. Right, Seath. Okay. Seath has always been a character. He likes what he says, and he says what he bloody likes, and he's not afraid of anyone. But he probably is, actually. But his big passion in life is shooting. Now, clay pigeon shooting, let's say, but he got into kind of rifle shooting as well. But you can understand that if you're shooting, then that finger is quite important, really, isn't it? So Seath recently was cutting the grass on his croquet lawn, as I'm led to believe, and decided that he was going to, because the stripes weren't absolutely perfect, that there was something in the back of the lawnmower, so he decided to put his hand in there in order to retrieve it out. He didn't chop them off, but he basically really badly mangled up these two fingers. Properly. Silly bastard. And he's got an infection. I mean, he's been, like, they've been bandaged up. He can't shoot. I did say to him, why don't you kind of make this one kind of like that long? Then it'll be an excellent, fabulous nose picker. But yeah, for a chap that kind of needs his first two fingers on his right hand, and they are the most important thing in the universe to him, to stick that hand into the back of a lawnmower. I mean, at least when I squashed that finger underneath the Range Rover rack, so it's my left hand. I'm right-handed. It's ironic that Southport did it as well. Yeah, so Seath, there's you mentioned, chap. You're a silly twat. Now buy me a fucking beer, Seath. Right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Please post me some questions. Drop them onto an email. I don't mind. I'll answer pretty much anything. Fire them over. Gives me something to talk about. Cheers, folks. Keep the old pecker up, eh? Don't let the bastards grind you down.